Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Cis men don't menstruate, but trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive to cis women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body menstruated at some point.
If your chromosomes are XX and you're young, you menstruate. If you're XY, you don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary? We're
not
excluding
men.
a whole group of people
They're women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men. You are not a man. You can pretend to be a man, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Live your life and tell me what a man is.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X and Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an example? When we've learned sex and gender identity are they're completely different things.
They're not completely different.
They are completely different.
Completely different words.
And sex is what you're born with, the sexual reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely different things.
Well, I don't accept that distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up.
I was wondering where this guy got his patience from, and then I read this comment. It says the reason he's so calm with these people is because as a 5th grade teacher, he's had a lot of practice explaining things to children. And I actually think that's being quite offensive to the children, because not even children are this clueless. Take a look at this.
Ms. Robinson, do you agree with Ms. Gaines that there's a difference between women and men?
If the question is about trans women...
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
What I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition happened,
I'm going to try again.
The rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes-no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is that a yes? So I'm trying to get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech. Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're not answering.
Deep down, she knows the answer. Everyone does. We've known this shit since we were 10 years old. Men are stronger than women in general. People with penises are men. People with vaginas are women.
Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex is different than gender.
Why
and I do believe that women's sports have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right now.
Ms. Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But why have a separate category for women? If there's no difference between women and men, why to have women's sports?
I'm saying that there's a difference between sex and gender, and that the NCAA has rules in place, which they have for the last decade.
Just answer the damn question.
A woman can't even answer a basic question. I think it's stupid, but we have to take it seriously, especially when they're forcing it onto kids now.
People are having an absolute meltdown after the new Transformers cartoon TV show for kids has a scene with Optimus Prime misgendering another non-binary Transformer called Nightshade, where a girl named Mo corrects him by saying their pronoun is they them.
My pronouns are they them.
Many parents are now calling for the boycott of Nickelodeon for trying to push this on children.
This is not f***ing winners, and this is what they're trying to teach the youths them? B is for bi, C is for coming out, D is for drag, W is for what the fuck?
A family can be made up in many different ways.
It's called SOGI, for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identification, a curriculum that teaches public school students across Canada to celebrate the homosexual lifestyle and that gender is fluid. In other words, your gender is not dependent on what parts you were born with, but rather what you feel like in the moment.
There's people that are boys, there's people that are girls, there are people whose gender might be a little bit of both, or might even be neither.
Lessons include books about transgender children, such as 10,000 Dresses, and songs like The Rainbow Song.
Gender won't decide the choices we make. Some boys like dressing up, some girls like catching snakes.
If you as an adult want to be confused about gender and sex, then you do that, but don't force it onto kids. Don't put it in the cartoons, don't put it in the books. It's fucked up. And even the kids realise it is as well. Take a look at this.
What did my shirt say? 5 simple words. There are only 2 genders.
12-year-old Liam Morrison claimed at a Middleborough Public School Council meeting on April 13th that he was kicked out of class for wearing the shirt a month earlier.
I never thought that the shirt I wore to school on March 21st would lead me to speak with you today. On that Tuesday morning, I was taken out of gym class to sit down with two adults for what turned out to be a very uncomfortable talk. I was told that people were complaining about the words on my shirt, that my shirt was making some students feel unsafe. Yes, words on a shirt made people feel unsafe. They told me that I wasn't in trouble, but it sure felt like I was. I was told that I would need to remove my shirt before I could return to class. When I nicely told them that I didn't want to do that, they called my father. Thankfully, my dad supported my decisions, came to pick me up. What did my shirt say? 5 simple words. There are only 2 genders. Nothing harmful, nothing threatening, just a statement I believe to be a fact. I have been told that my shirt was targeting a protected class. Who is this protected class? Are their feelings more important than my rights? I don't complain when I see pride flags and diversity posters hung throughout the school. Do you know why? Because others have a right to their beliefs just as I do. Not one person, staff, or student told me that they were bothered by what I was wearing. Actually, just the opposite. Several kids told me that they supported my actions and that they wanted one too. I was told that the shirt was a disruption to learning. No one got up and stormed out of class. No one burst into tears. Actually, just the opposite. Several kids told me that they supported my actions and that they wanted one too.
So basically, if you say there's 100 different genders and you believe a person can be whatever they want, then you're a good person, you're on the good side. But as soon as you say there's 2, whoa, you're a villain, you're a terrible person.
Not very inclusive. No, I'm sorry, what you were saying was not very inclusive, and this is an inclusive school.
Yeah, how was what I was saying?
Because I was saying that what's wrong with the website is that there are more than one gender in this country.
That's your opinion.
That is my opinion, and that is an opinion which is acceptable in the school. I'm afraid yours, which you're saying that there's no such thing as anyone other than male or female, is not inclusive.
Scientifically, there are just 2 genders, depending on what
I get that.
gender
But you're choosing to make an issue of this, because I said, are you really going to hear? That was your opportunity to keep quiet.
You made the issue with it on the website. You said, oh, this website doesn't have more than 2
Murray,
genders.
you were clearly given an opportunity not to pursue it. You chose to do so.
Yeah, because I think it's
You
silly.
chose to do so. Yes, that's the key question. You chose to do so.
I think it's silly to have anything other than 2 genders. So
That, okay.
Anything
could you please,
else is a
could you
personal
please
opinion.
keep that opinion to your own house? Thank you. Not in the
So
school.
you get to put your opinion out in class, and my
No,
opinion has to,
I am not
my
putting
opinion has to stay
I
inside
am
my
not
house.
putting my opinion. I am not putting my opinion out. I am stating what is national school authority policy. Okay?
Well, it's not scientific whatsoever.
Not every policy is scientific, Brian. Sorry.
And you can't come out here and say that I'm not being inclusive when someone says
I
something
didn't
you
say.
disagree with. So
I said what you were saying was not being inclusive.
You kicked me out of class. If you want to have a discussion about it, we could have had a discussion. You don't have to kick me out of class.
I'm sorry.
Waste 30 minutes of my time.
You know, a lot's happened. Wasn't able to walk at graduation. My offer to work for the Forest Service was rescinded.
Basically, you got kicked out for saying a fact. That's the world that we're living in. It's ridiculous. And this isn't the only way that it's affecting kids either. Take a look at this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and only ladies and gentlemen it is and shall always be. I am an 18-year-old high school student and wanted to take this time to bring to your attention the current issue with biological men claiming they are women and in turn truly believing that they are entitled to use women's spaces. The question we must address is why are we affirming the mental confusion of this boy and putting the safety of women in jeopardy by allowing mentally confused men to use the women's spaces?
I feel very upset by the situation, that the fact that boys are going to be allowed to go into the girls' bathrooms. I don't think that they should be allowed to be in girls' bathrooms because it's just, if they're not a girl, then they shouldn't be in there. If that's how it's meant to be, then it shouldn't be changed, but it's going to be changed anyway because opinions don't matter for me.
Yeah, this is the thing, no one cares about her feelings anymore because her opinion's supposedly hateful nowadays. We gotta protect the kids and let the kids be kids. Stop forcing this type of shit upon them. Stop trying to teach them this shit in schools. And there's a lot of parents that agree with this. They don't like it.
I am Caesar, Julius Caesar of Rome, the emperor. I am also a female. Does anybody here believe that I am Julius Caesar? Anybody believe that? No? Of course not. It's ridiculous. I'm not Caesar. I'm not a woman either. I'm here as a father.
And I am a cat. Meow, meow. I'm not a woman dressed as a cat. I am a cat. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe and confess that I'm a cat? Great. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe that your child or a child from this school would believe that I'm actually a cat? No one. You are right. Why? Because you are not stupid, and these children are not stupid. Truth prevails over imagination. Reality exists. Discernment is innate and something we are biologically wired to have. One look at me and you know this to be true. I am a woman posing as a cat. You may also think correctly that if I truly believe I'm a cat, I have a mental disorder. If I suffer from a mental disorder, and if I am unable to discern reality, am I safe to be around children? Would you put me in charge of making critical decisions about the safety and well-being of children and about the direction of their education when I cannot even discern truth from fiction?
And some of the shit they're teaching in schools these days is f***ed up. Take a look at this.
Here's a recent example. You can't figure out who's been distributing these to elementary teachers in our district, but I'm just going to read one page. When a baby is born, a grown-up says, it's a boy or it's a girl. If a brand new baby could talk, sometimes that baby might say, no, I'm not. When a baby grows up to be transgender, it means that the grown-up who said they were a boy or a girl made a mistake. Do you have ears to hear? Do we have ears to hear how this page alone assaults the sacred God-given identity of young males and young females? First graders are busy enough trying to master phonics and try to learn how to read. Why would we allow authority figures to plant seeds of doubt in their existence simply as a boy or a girl, that it might be a mistake? And we wonder why there's mental health crisis. Wise teachers, even if they were given this, would never read this to their classroom.
We need to have them stop handing out, no matter how you identify or anything else. I have really nothing against anybody, but this is absurd and everybody knows it. Thank you.
This book here, it's called It's Perfectly Normal. I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's becomes moist and slippery. A bit, a person's...
Sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? We have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you all sit back smug in your chairs, but you don't want me to read it. Why? Does it bother you? Yes or no? You can't answer that question. You want to know why? Because politically speaking, you can't say that it's wrong. And you don't want me to read the filth because it exposes the truth. How dare you tell me to stop reading it?
Seriously, what the f*** is going on? Like he says, if you can't even listen to it yourselves, how are you expecting a bunch of little innocent kids to listen to it? There's no reason an adult should be talking to kids about this type of shit. For anybody that thinks this is normal, that they're teaching this type of shit to kids in schools,
Get some help.